What is up, everybody? Jester here, and I know for the past few weeks I've been a bit down on No Man's Sky, and I've said my piece when it comes to the lack of content or perceived content when it comes to this game for No Man's Sky from Hello Games. I feel like the graphical updates, they're fine, but it doesn't really give us much to go do. And that's why I created the Kingdom Project, which is a system completely centered around creative builds for anybody that wants to come and do it. Interactive stuff, games within the game, whatever you feel like building, share it with the community. At least this gives us something to do with our time. And now that we're nearing 1,000 subscribers, I feel like this is kind of the celebration for that achievement. Even though I haven't reached it yet, I feel like this is going to serve as the 1,000 subscriber video. Because what we're going to show you today is extremely creative, and it didn't just come from me. It came from multiple sources, combining a lot of different things into one thing that actually works. And it's a game you guys are going to want to come play inside of No Man's Sky. There is a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. This build got started when my good friend Barniso showed me a concept of something he'd been working on using the parts and pieces that we have available. In this case, he was using straight walls with piping and then a sphere generator to actually manipulate where the ball would go. And in his eyes, he was thinking 4 or 5 wide would be pretty good, and I don't know, 8 or 9 high, and he was thinking this would just be kind of fun, something interactive to go and do. But I saw this on a slightly bigger scale, and after asking him for permission, I went ahead and built it. Knowing one of the last remaining resource bases we needed was the nitrogen and paraffinium, and also a place that we could grow star bramble, I decided to incorporate that into this build because I didn't just want this to be a place where you could come play a game, but also some stuff that you could grab here, nip buds, as well as resources. But from there, we set off to build the board, and believe it or not, it is a massive board that works. The game does work and it operates, but there is one really big problem I have with the build. You see, you can take the teleporter to the top of this build, and each one of these different lines has its own sphere generator. But the problem is that every time you drop one of these, it ends up being static. There's too much rigidity in the actual piping, so every time the ball goes down, it's going to fall into the same hole over and over. And I really didn't like the fact that it wasn't random, and you couldn't actually get the high score from any of the ball positions. Now, we could have played around with the pin placement and things like that, but I kind of wanted to stop, take a step back, and rethink this and play with a few other things and come back at it with a fresh mind. Now, I have long known with my experience in Smash Ball that you could take one of these sphere generators and you can push it around pretty easily with a mining beam. This is the whole idea behind Smash Ball, where you push the ball towards a net, and there is going to be another version of that game with another twist coming up for version 3. But what I had never tried was actually putting this on the ground and hitting it with an actual weapon. So here we're going to try the neutron cannon, and oh my, does it go a long way. There's going to be zero chance we can use that weapon for anything. We'd never be able to track the ball. It'd be outside base limits. But it's kind of fun to sit here and do anyway, just to launch the ball. So what we ended up trying was the scatter blaster, which is right here. And what we found was this gave the ball something you could actually use, something manageable, and it's going to stay inside the base limits. Maybe 100 U, maybe a couple 100 U. And that got me thinking, well, what if we tried like a golf game? So I went and set up a little quote-unquote hole here at a random location. And again, I'm not too worried about resources because I've got everything I need covered for this planet. It's 3 walls wide and 1 wall deep, and it's meant to just catch the ball. So what we can do now is drop the ball down, and we can hit it with the scatter blaster, and sure enough, this does work. There's a couple issues with this, though. There are some natural hazards. As you kind of saw there, that was actually a little cave entrance that it almost went into. And then you're going to notice that because this planet's so hilly, the ball just doesn't want to stop rolling. And you only get 10 of these little ball generators per base, and instead of trying to set this up where you think the ball might land and then be able to hit it again, look, I think this is very possible on a more flat planet, and you may see me do this in the future on a planet not in the Kingdom. But as for Gaia 2 in the Kingdom system, I just don't think it's going to be viable. So then I went to stream thinking, what about skee ball? For anybody that's unfamiliar, skee ball is basically a little arcade style game where you roll a ball up a ramp and it shoots up into one of, 5 or 6 different rings, and you get scores based on that. And so that's basically what I did here, except for I started with the same type of trap we used for golf, where I set up just a couple of walls that were, in this case, 2 wide and 1 deep. And what I realized was this board was going to have to be massively bigger to pull this off. And then I was starting to worry about, well, could you really aim it? And if it got too saturated, could you really get the ball all the way to the bottom? and I kind of want the randomness for this particular project because it seems like a good time. That's what led me to start playing around with the pyramid pieces. Now, through going in and changing the rotation axis and rotating these to where they're flat on this slightly about 45-degree surface, we were able to get these diamonds in a way where the ball is not going to get stuck, because believe it or not, there's not a lot of bounce mechanic when it comes to the ball when it interacts with an item. And that's where everything really took shape. Welcome to Plink Ball Arena. Now, this is the truest form of what I love to see in No Man's Sky. It was so many different concepts that came into one. We tried so many different things to make a game that would work, and this one does. My only real issue with the build is that the outside pyramids have to be clipped in to keep the ball from rolling straight down the sides. Other than that, it's beautiful, and I love it, and it does work. I've already played this with a couple of different friends, and everybody seems to really be having a good time with it. And you guys can too. As for the rules of the game, well, I'll let you guys make up your own rules, but I would recommend that you guys use the Scatter Blaster, which is 200 Pugnum and 1 wiring loom to install, and mainly because this one gives it a good lift up into the board. I wouldn't recommend having this upgraded at all because I think you're going to overshoot the board at that point. So if you have an upgraded Scatter Blaster, just store those technologies when you're here playing. But it works wonderfully. You guys can do this any way you want to. You can do this with 9 balls like you would in skee ball. You could do best of 5 with your friends, or you could just come by and do it for yourself. And as you can see, it's pretty random. Like, yeah, you might hit the ball in the same place, but it might interact with this diamond a little bit different. And here it looks like we're going to get a 10 for hitting it straight up and down. It's such a really fun little thing to do, and it absolutely fits the vibe for the kingdom. And I hope you guys come by and check it out. Here are the portal coordinates for the kingdom system. And again, I just want to reiterate this project. If you just want to come over here and pick up resources, stuff you're going to need for expedition, there's a couple of runaway mold farms. By all means, guys, come and visit. Everything's right here. You can clearly see everything listed. If you want to come and sample these creative builds, that's even better because now you're being interactive with the system. And if you want to come and build something that's fun for everybody to do, we super encourage that as well, because that's what this whole idea is about. When we're not getting a whole lot of things to go do, sometimes you have to go make your own fun. And that's what we're doing here in the kingdom. And so there you have it, guys. When you're not real happy with the updates, you go make your own. And that's basically what we've done here. We've created a little mini game inside of the game that works, and you can come and have fun with this anytime you'd like to. It's open for anyone. And that's basically the whole idea behind the kingdom. It's supposed to be a good time. And like I said in the beginning, I've been pretty outspoken here recently about what I feel is a lack of content when it comes from Hello Games. Yeah, there's been graphical stuff, but there's really not been a whole lot to go and do. And everybody's going to scream, well, it's free and the expedition. And it's like, you know what? I finished the expedition in about 4 hours. And free doesn't always mean good. And for those coming in with the hateful, you will not diminish Hello Games' achievements. Just miss me with that crap, man. I'm tired of hearing it. And there's been plenty of people in the comments that understand where I'm coming from. And I appreciate all the comments, don't get me wrong. But you're not going to change my mind on this. And I'm probably not going to change yours. So it's probably just better if you didn't comment. Now, I do want to say this as well. Thank you guys so much. I know that as of the time of recording, I'm at 998 subscribers, but I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for the 1,000. This has been a dream of mine for a couple of years now. Started on Facebook with food videos, and then we came over here with a little gaming and a little food. It's been a hell of a journey, and I can't wait to see it continue. We got more builds for this system planned. I got other games, including a world record, I think, for Long Dark, which has been around for 10 years. Video coming out pretty soon on something I did that I've never seen anybody else do. So if you're into that kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel, like the video. It really does help. And again, I just appreciate all 1,000 of you guys that have decided to follow the journey. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching, and come enjoy Plink Ball. Bye.